Alright, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Kal Halayim La, Alahai Nawa, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash, Shalom, Wabarakim, Labakarim Yasha Allah, Washani Kabah Gawala Wakab, Kwani Nuwa, Waha Shalayakim Nuwa, Yasha Allah, Ba'ait. Alright, of course, always giving all praise to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. That's his name in the ancient Hebrew, and the name of his son, Yahweh Shai, our Savior, alright, of the elect of Israel. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect of Israel, the elect family, Mashapakath, Bakariam, the elect family, and double honors to our elders and apostles in these times, alright, that rule well, alright, our true masters and leaders of Israel, known as Great Millstone in the English and the Hebrew, that be Gawal Okab, alright, Shani Kabbalah Kam. Alright, so I just want to do this video here just to update uh, about how the Lord is basically going to send Ebola back to America. So this thing boiled down for a while, and then a video had came out recently on YouTube. Uh, Let me see if I can find it real quick in my history, um, where this guy was going in talking about how it's basically going to be spreading, And I just looked up some articles. All right, see that? Yeah, I gotta do a video on that later. That dude in Baltimore, in that Carl Thomas spirit. But yeah, let me see if I can uh yeah, here it is. So this was the video. All right, through the spirit. So if you want to go watch this, it's called 5/20/19. Now spreading like wildfire, this event will overwhelm the U.S. Army. All right, and this is the page here. If you want to go watch this video, it's pretty good. All right, through the spirit. And the guy just goes in talking about what's going on with Ebola, the update with it, how basically it's uncontrollable, all right, and this is a sign of the times, all right. So I'm gonna get this precept here, and I'm gonna get up in this article, all right. This is Matthew 24:7. This is straight out of Yahweh Shai, our deliverer's mouth, all right. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, which is going on right now. All right, you have a lot of racial tensions. All right, I was just rapping with the brother. This is the Big Ox Aquan Atazawam out in Milwaukee. How Milwaukee is basically being labeled like one of the most racist places um, in the states. You know what I'm saying? I believe that they declared racism basically a public health issue in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So that's how you know we in these times too. So it says kingdom against kingdom, and that's going on right now. All right, you see what's going on in the East. Everyone in the East is kind of aligning against the West, specifically Babylon the Great. All right, so with Yahweh, that's how we know the words of Yahweh Shai and the scriptures are true. It says, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, so and there are huge famines going on. All right, especially here in America, there's droughts. All right, food supplies are running low. All right, the earth is being depleted of its resources, so it's causing famines. All right, not only famines amongst the humans, but the different species too. All right, a bunch of different species are going extinct. They're saying over 1 million could go extinct by the end of the year. All right, and then also there's a major famine in Yemen, man. Yemen's been catching hell like crazy. All right, so it says and pestilences. All right, so one of the pestilence that I want to speak on is the one that the Lord is sending back to America, which He's going to send all of them. All right, all the plagues that happened to Egypt, those spoken of in the scriptures, and those not spoken of are going to come upon Babylon. All right, in the new Egypt. So this says Ebola is like a fire; it keeps burning. All right, I'm gonna read just a little bit of some of this. It says to understand why the Ebola virus disease is spreading in the Congo, think of fire. The virus burns in a fire pit and periodically leaps out. Health workers scramble to contain the outbreaks. And you know what's crazy? That's why I chose this as a snapshot. It says Rachel on here, all right, which Rachel was our foremother, all right, specifically of the tribes of Joseph and Benjamin, all right. So you Tainos, so-called Puerto Ricans, all right, and you Cubans, all right, so-called Cubans from the tribe of Manasseh and Ephraim, and then also Benjamin, you so-called West Indians, all right. Jacob is your father, all right, and Rachel was your mother. So this is kind of spiritual, all right. So it says, the virus burns in a fire pit and periodically leaps out. Health workers scramble to contain the outbreaks, which sometimes strike in locations by surprise. Hey, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Thus, it is alarming to hear from the World Health Organization that responders are being forced to retreat on some days because of the dangerous security situation created by armed militia. All right, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. It says another serious concern is that 40% of the deaths are occurring outside treatment centers. All right, 40% are occurring outside treatment centers. This means people are dying in their communities where the highly infectious virus is easily transmitted to others and detection delayed. All right, so even though this is going on in the Congo, this type of scenario is going to break out in America where this thing pops off in multiple places and just can't be stopped. All right, it says a report in the Post says the problem of mistrust of doctors in the community, as well as danger to them of violent attack, has led some medical personnel to essentially go undercover to carry out their life-saving efforts. It says the outbreak has killed 1,073 people out of 1,672 confirmed cases since last summer. All right, the second worst Ebola outbreak on record. All right, and the next one is going to be the greatest. It says, armed with the vaccine, the World Health Organization has shifted its strategy, lowering the dosage and widening the eligibility to reach more people. But as Australian virologist Ian McKay points out in his blog, a revised vaccine strategy can't succeed unless security is improved, and it's not going to improve. It says people feel that it is improved and community trust is archived. A vaccine that people don't want or can't change won't work. Improving security is not a simple matter. All right, bringing armed forces into the region might further complicate the trust problem in the communities. All right, it says in the West African epidemic, authorities realized belatedly that forced quarantines create panic and were counterproductive. All right, so that's just one article. Let me get this other one, and I'm gonna hit these scriptures. All right, this one's entitled. All right, amid civil unrest, Ebola outbreak continues unabated. All right, so it says, starting up here, and I'm gonna jump down. It says, now this is by Dr. Brian Blodgett, faculty member of Homeland Security, American Military University. It says, with an average fatality rate of around 50%. Okay. Around 50%, Ebola continues to spread in the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, a few Americans are aware of this deadly disease. On April 28th, the World Health Organization reported 27 new confirmed Ebola cases. This was the highest number of confirmed cases in a single day and accumulated in the highest number of new cases in a week, 126, since the deadly outbreak started in August. It says to date there have been more than 1,500 cases, over 1,000 deaths. Officials from the World Health Organization warned that they were anticipating a scenario of continued intense transmission. The worst outbreak occurred in 2014 to 2016 and killed and confirmed 11,000 victims in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. All right, now let's see. Where was I at? Okay, Ebola could potentially reach the U.S. It says as far as Ebola reaching the U.S., Goma International Airport is in North Kivu and has several flights to New York City. All of these flights first pass through Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and then go on there either to Paris, London, or Frankfurt before landing in the United States. Each flight lasts approximately 22 hours. Due to the extreme variation in the incubation period of Ebola, an infected person could be non-symptomatic when they board a plane at Goma, but become infectious during the flight or upon landing. While this scenario may not seem unlikely, it remains a possibility, and it definitely is, because the Lord is sending it back, man. Babylon's going to get it. It says, especially if the goal of the international terrorist organization was to infect American citizens, all right, via suicide attack. All right, well, we know who's behind this. All right, that's Esau, the so-called white man. All right, the Edomites. All right, this is World Health, Ebola viruses. This is just some facts. I'll probably go back and read that later, but I'm gonna get some precepts. Second Ezra 7:43. It says, "But the day of doom shall be the end of this time." All right, and this is gonna be a gloomy in a day of doom. All right, when that Ebola thing gets here, and people don't even realize it until it's too late. All right, because the Lord said He would send pestilence. It's His judgment. It's righteous judgment. It's indignation against the inhabitants of America, of modern day Babylon. This ought to be destroyed. It says here in the precept, it says, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. All right, moving forward. Second Ezra 16 and 14. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again. That's why it says they can't. This thing is going. It's unabated. All right. They can't. They're having a very hard time. Where's that article? All right, they're having a hard time. It says amid civil unrest, Ebola outbreak continues unabated. Now, let's just look up that word. All right, let's look up that word, unabated. All right, see what that means. All right, because we in the business of looking up words. All right, un means not. Now let's look up abate. Abate means to put to an end, to grow less, to diminish in power or influence. All right, so this thing is not diminishing in power or influence. All right, it's not being beat down, it's not being cast down or struck down or destroyed or abolished. All right, why? Because in this precept, the plagues are sent and shall not return again. Esau's not going to come up with something to turn this Ebola thing. And he's in a trick bag because what he does, he harnesses all these viruses, all right, and extremely fatal diseases, and puts them in a fucking locker room at minus 80 coolers, minus 100 degrees Celsius coolers to try to control it, all right. But what little do you know, the Lord is in control, all right, and He's gonna release those things. It says upon until they come upon the earth. All right, and that's what's going to happen. Now, just a little fact here: the NIH, they used to house back during the time of H1N1, and when Ebola was going on, there was an outbreak at the National Institute of Health organization down there in Bethesda, Maryland. So they had to move all the viruses and diseases that were in the containers over into the FDA building over there in on the other side of Maryland, in White Oak, over in Maryland. All right, not too far away. So the same building where they check your food, the Food and Drug Administration, is the same building where they're housing all these deadly ass diseases and viruses. All right, which they have more of them in the CDC, which is they actually moved to the middle of the country. So Esau, the Lord is putting everything in place so that when these plagues drop, everybody's going to drop kind of quickly. All right, relatively quickly. All right. It says, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow when it is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? And that's what we say. We know that Yahweh Shah is going to protect us, all right, from this stuff because of the promise. All right, because of the promise here. Let me just get this real quick. Let me get this promise. All right, this is something we shouldn't, even though the Lord is sending Ebola back here, we don't have to worry about it. All right, Psalms 91 and 3, it says, surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. All right, and I might make a quick prayer out of this, through the Spirit. Deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. I might do a follow up on that. But let me come back here, Second Ezra, I'm going to wrap up. It says, behold, Salak 18, 2nd Ezra 16:18. Beginning of sorrows. All right, this is the beginning of sorrows. When you see maps, when you see stuff like this, people, we don't get sorrowful, the men of the Lord, because we're anticipating this stuff. But other people, all right, this scares them. Are you seeing maps like this? All over the bullet hopping, playing leapfrog. You know what I'm saying? It says, in great mornings, in the beginning of famine, in great death. All right. Now, when you have 1,600 cases and almost 1,100 people died, that's great death. All right. That's way more than half, way more than 50%. It says the beginning of wars, and this is the beginning of war. We see what's going on there with the Strait of Hormuz and Iran aligning itself against the U.S. All right, and Trump withdrawing troops from Iraq to try and send over to closer to Iran. All right, trying to get that oil through the Spirit. All right, and of course other resources. But we know that just to sidebar real quick, we know that once that war in Iran really kicks off, that's going to be the end all of be all. All right. That's pursuant to the prophecies. It says, and the power shall stand in fear. All right. And they are in fear. The World Health Organization, they're terrified. That's why they're trying to get the militias under control. They're trying to create these quarantines, but why are they in fear? Because these thing of fire is breaking out in multiple places. You have Ebola breaking out in villages that people don't even know about over in the Congo. So if it's breaking out in villages in the Congo people don't know about, what about these other countries? What about where people are going and flying to? All right. It says the beginning of evils, and evils means bad times. All right. Evil means bad times. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. All right, and the Lord is about to amend America by sending this pestilence, Ebola, back over here. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of their scourges. Right, because people don't consider that the Lord is, when this is popping off, people aren't going to be thinking about, oh man, I should have repented. They're not going to be mindful of the things that they were doing in relation to what's going on to them. All right, when Ebola breaks out. All right, so I just want to bring that out. All right, just a few precepts. I won't be too long here. But yeah, the Lord is sending Ebola back through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai as scourges and amendments, all right, to wipe out 2/3 in the inhabitants in America. All right, so that's just part of it. Ultimately, it's going to be the nuclear missiles. All right, but there's other ways. There's other ways that people are gonna fall. All right, and this is one of them. It's going to be through the pestilence that Yahweh Shai spoke of that was to come upon the world. All right. So again, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, the water Yahweh Bashmi Shai for allowing me to go through this, have the eyes to see, and be able to filter this information through the holy scrolls, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Shai. Shalom to the elect, double honors to our elders and apostles, known as Great Millstone. These times, our masters, our leaders who taught us this truth, all right, of Israel, and in Hebrew that be Gawala Wakab, all right, and Sheni Kabbalah come, double honors to you all. And again, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom.